You're watching ABC 7 News at 4, starting with First Alert Weather.
Good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan, and Florence now is slamming North Carolina with heavy rainfall and gusty winds up to tropical storm force. The center is still about 100 miles southeast of Wilmington, moving off very slowly now. That's the big issue. With this storm, it's going to be a slow mover from the rest of the way out. It looks as though it will stick around that coast for at least the next 48 hours, bringing heavy rainfall in. Now, it has weakened. Get a look at the visible satellite imagery showing the center not nearly as defined as it once was just about a day and a half ago. You can see it spinning there. There's quite a bit of cirrus clouds around it. The eastern portion and the northeast portion of the eye has been exposed somewhat with a lack of storms there, and it continues to slow down. You saw in those last few frames just a little bit of movement now off to the west, and that's where it's going to be kind of hanging around for the next 12 hours at least. High pressure to the north is going to keep it suppressed. It's not going to allow it to race off to the north. A radar presentation showing already feeder bands moving into Hawkers Island there. Also Wilmington, Hawkers Island, I should say, Jacksonville, even Hatteras getting some heavy rainfall at this point, and the strongest bands are still offshore. As I mentioned, a live sweep of the radar coming out of Wilmington showing the well-defined feeder bands making their way on into the Carolina coast right now. I mentioned the distance of that eye from Wilmington, 100 miles off to the southeast. It is now drifting off to the west-northwest at around 9 miles an hour. That's about it. In fact, it's down to 5 miles an hour, and it is 105-mile-an-hour winds, so it's not a Category 3. It's not a major hurricane. Winds aren't the big issue with this one. It's the heavy rainfall, which is still, the models are suggesting, up to 20 to 30 inches of rain. Some isolated areas could see as much as 40. Well, there's the forecast path and track. As you can see, a westerly course, but those symbols of the rotating hurricane there, that's all the way through Friday night and into Saturday morning at 8 a.m. So 3 days of just sitting there hammering the coast with heavy rain. Eventually, it gets picked up by a trough on Sunday and carries off to the northeast through West Virginia. But the big story with this will be the pounding surf, the heavy rainfall, and even a Category 2 hurricane is nothing to laugh at. So it's going to cause some damage there. We're not going to get the structural damage that you would get with the winds with a Category 2. However, you will get structural damage with that high surf and also that storm surge that is anticipated. You can see the radar imagery and satellite imagery, I should say, enhanced, showing the system a little weaker on the east and northeast side there. But now that it's slowed down, that eye is going to stay over the waters, and so it will still gain strength and continue to hammer the outer banks there. And look how wide the system is. That's another big deal, is the width of the tropical storm force winds, over 100 and 150 miles out from the center. And that means a lot of power outages expected throughout that region as it makes its way off toward the west very slowly. Well, we have other systems in the Atlantic and no threat to us at this point, and it looks like the system in the Gulf of Mexico is weakening, and so it's only at a 50% chance developing. We'll have more on that, more on Isaac and our local weather as well coming up in a few minutes. Jacqueline, Scott?
All right, Bob, thank you. You're taking a live look off the coast of North Carolina, where Hurricane Florence is expected to bring catastrophic flooding and may dump as much as 40 inches in North Carolina of rain alone. Florence already disrupting travel and also halting business across the southeast ahead of its expected landfall, which could be as early as this evening or early tomorrow morning. FEMA also urging those in Florence's path to take the evacuation seriously.
Many of you have been placed under evacuation, and we are asking citizens to please heed a warning. Your time is running out. The ocean is going to start rising along the coast and in the back bay and inlet areas and the sound areas within a matter of hours. Your time to get out of those areas and storm surge inundation is coming to a close.
Well, thousands of Floridians are heading north to help the Carolinas. The state is sending 30 nurses to help in special needs shelters. 5 ambulance strike teams are also going to help with medical evacuations. More than 2,000 utility crews will be on hand to restore power, and several volunteer teams from the Salvation Army and American Red Cross have already arrived to help first responders.
Well, this may surprise you, but Waffle House has activated its storm center, and employees are keeping a close eye on Hurricane Florence. Now, the breakfast chain is well known for keeping doors open during natural disasters. In fact, FEMA came up with a phrase, Waffle House Index, as a way to measure how badly storms have affected an area. If a Waffle House closes, then that area was probably hit hard. Sarasota County hosting a Facebook Live earlier today to let residents know how they can help with Hurricane Florence and to remind them that they should always be prepared as well.
ABC 7's Jackie Kelly is at the Sarasota Red Cross now and tells us more about these efforts. Jackie.
Scott, Jacqueline, as people up north anticipate this storm, people here at Red Cross in Sarasota are preparing to help. So far, they have sent 24 people up to help, and they say that they're looking for people to volunteer with cleanup efforts after the storm hits. The Red Cross will be holding a training session this Wednesday for anyone who is interested. As for here at home, Sarasota County says it's a good thing to always be prepared for hurricanes, making sure you know which evacuation level you're in and having a plan of where to go. And at 6, you'll be hearing more from the Red Cross on how you can help out with this hurricane. Back to you guys.
All right, Jackie, thank you. And another reminder to be prepared this hurricane season. If you still need to get a plan in place, you can find tips on that on our free ABC7 apps, as well as printable 2018 Hurricane Guide at mysuncoast.com. All right, Jacqueline joins us now with the latest on the death of a 2-year-old in Largo.
Scott, now to new developments involving the death of a toddler in Largo. The day before Jordan Bellevue was found dead, a case manager warned his biological parents that he could once again be taken from them and placed in foster care. The boy disappeared on September 1st and his body was found September 4th in the woods behind a baseball field. Police arrested his mother, Cherise Stinson, and charged her with first-degree murder. Investigators say she confessed to hitting Jordan in the head during a moment of frustration. There's new trouble now at CBS. Just days after the CEO resigned, the head of 60 Minutes is gone as well. Jeff Fager has reportedly been fired for a text that he sent to a network reporter who was covering the accusations of sexual misconduct made against him. CBS journalist Jerika Duncan says she reached out to Fager on Sunday after a New Yorker story detailed an allegation made against him in which a woman said he groped her at a party.
Fager in a text said to me, quote, "If you repeat these false accusations without any of your own reporting to back them up, you will be held responsible for harming me. Be careful. There are people who lost their jobs trying to harm me."
CBS News president says Fager's firing was not directly related to the allegations of sexual misconduct, but because he violated company policy. Bishops from the United States are at the Vatican today to discuss allegations of priest sexual assaults and the church's response to them. A cardinal from Texas requested the meeting with Pope Francis following allegations that the lack of response in the church went well all the way to the top. The former Archbishop of Washington, ex-Cardinal Theodore McCarrick, is accused of sexually harassing seminarians and an altar boy, in which he has denied those allegations.
Of course, it also is in the context of the Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano's allegations against the Pope that he knew about Archbishop McCarrick and that he didn't do enough to take action against McCarrick.
The current Archbishop in Washington, Cardinal Donald Wuerl, faces scrutiny about what he may have known about McCarrick. A grand jury report also claims that Wuerl covered up abuse during his time in Pittsburgh, which he denies. Let's send it back to Scott with the latest on a master plan for the Warm Mineral Springs Park.
Jacqueline, you can take a survey or go to a meeting or both, but the City of Northport is hoping you will add your input to the Warm Mineral Springs Park master plan. The city is currently working on the plan, which includes the entire 80 acres. That plan will also have recommendations on what services and amenities should be offered to visitors over the next couple of years. You can take part in the online survey now until the end of the month. There will also be 3 community meetings next week. The first is set for Tuesday at the park, beginning at 2 p.m. And in a little less than an hour from now, you can check out the plans on a new interchange for I-75 and State Road 70 in Manatee County. Next month, FDOT will start work on changing the on and off ramps to a so-called modified diamond interchange. I-75 will also be widened to 8 lanes from north of University Parkway to south of State Road 64. A public workshop on the project will start at 5 o'clock at the Manatee Technical College, just off State Road 70. New at 4, Sarasota County health officials are issuing no swim advisories for 2 beaches. The Venice Pier Beach and North Jetty Beach have potentially harmful levels of bacteria in the water. Health officials will do another round of testing tomorrow. Now, the beaches are still open there, but swimming and other water activities are not recommended while these advisories are in place. Still ahead, 2 more Manatee County School District leaders are placed on administrative leave. And Bradenton police need your help identifying a thief that's rolling through neighborhoods on a skateboard. Plus, while a man slept in his San Diego home, surveillance video shows a woman turning his backyard into a private resort.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. We're gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
I heard about the Dattoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dattoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Dattoli Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call, and you cannot be turned down for any reason. Even if you have health problems or are living on a fixed income, guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance policies could work for you with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
My mom didn't have life insurance and the cost all fell on me. And that's expensive. We're still paying for that.
Yeah, we're still paying for that.
Call 1-800-218-4991 now. In one phone call, you can help prepare your family with protection amounts up to $25,000. There are no medical tests or health questions. And remember, you cannot be turned down for any reason. In fact, TruStage policies are already protecting over 18 million Americans. And rates are designed to be affordable, starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease.
When I leave, everything will be taken care of for them.
Call 1-800-218-4991 now for a free, no-obligation quote. TruStage offers plans to fit your budget with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-218-4991 now.
Just last week, the Manatee School District endured a number of payroll issues due to a new and issue-plagued software program. Now we're learning 2 high-ranking employees are on paid administrative leave during an investigation into that software project. ABC 7's Dwayne Lindo is live in Bradenton with that story today. Dwayne?
Officer Rob Malloy and ERP project manager Angie Oxley. Now, the district is saying this investigation is ongoing, but they can't get into specifics why they're on paid leave. But I can tell you this comes at a bad time for the Manatee County District of Schools. There are still complications with new software that went live 2 months ago. This new software wreaking havoc with many employees and their payroll. Some employees not being able to decipher their pay stubs or get it shorted on pay. The district has sought outside help to oversee this huge software project, specifically a retired high-ranking official from Seminole County. All this comes almost a month after Deputy Superintendent Ron Serrana was placed on leave. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we hear from the district to find out what this all means for district employees that have been dealing with these payroll issues. Scott, back to you.
All right, Dwayne, thank you so much. Well, Jacqueline joins us now in the newsroom with a look at what's trending today.
Scott, the fastest man on Earth has proved he will not be slowed down by a little thing like gravity. Take a look at this. Olympic gold medalist Usain Bolt raced astronauts in an Airbus Zero-G plane above France. It was all part of a sponsorship event for GH Mum Champagne. The bottle was reportedly designed for use by future space tourists. Apparently, it's easier to chug from this bottle in zero gravity. Bolt easily beat mind-blowing and fun. Well, take a look. Do you recognize this man on your screen? Manatee County Sheriff's deputies are sharing this surveillance video of a thief caught skateboarding through a neighborhood in Bradenton and breaking into several unlocked vehicles. Deputies say it all happened during the early hours on September 1st in the Del Tierra subdivision. If you have any information, please contact the sheriff's office. A man in San Diego, California woke up to a strange surveillance video of a woman making herself at home in his backyard. After shoving open a gate, the woman goes behind some shelving and then takes off her clothes before heading right for the hot tub with what appears to be a giant bottle of beer. After about half an hour, she gets out and then wanders around to the front yard. Soon after, neighbors say their surveillance video caught the woman on their front porch smoking and stealing drinks from a cooler. We'll take a look at this bobcat that was spotted in Sarasota this morning. ABC 7 viewer Andrea Pertula sent us this picture of the bobcat in front of her home this morning in the Stonebridge community in Palmer Ranch. Andrea says the bobcat was seen wandering around yards and didn't appear to be afraid. Now, this serves as a good reminder to keep your small animals indoors if you see any wildlife in your neighborhood. Well, let's check in with Bob for a look at our forecast and the latest on Hurricane Florence. Bob.
Florence now is doing what we thought it would do. It's slowing its motion down as a result of high pressure building to the north. And as we've always expected, this is going to be a big rainmaker, and this is kind of confirming that right now. And it's just drifting along at 5 miles an hour. It's still 100 miles off the coast, and what that means is they're going to see landfall well after midnight tonight, more than likely sometime around sunrise tomorrow if it keeps that slow motion up. And you can see the well-defined center. It's not a well-defined eye at this point in terms of intense thunderstorms, but that still has a chance to intensify somewhat now that it's over the Gulf Stream and conditions are still somewhat favorable for developing. What's going to happen is showers and storms are going to continue to develop around the center of that circulation and then just move right into Carolina coast right now. And you can see that some of the bands are already starting to feed into it. The hurricane force winds are here, so no hurricane force winds being felt right now with these bands making their way through. It could get gusts up to hurricane force, but sustained winds are in the tropical storm category right now. And even those can cause power outages, and we're going to see a lot of power outages. And look at all this rain here. Now you got to figure if this is going to stay out here for at least a day, these showers and storms will have a tendency to just work around there. It'll take a few hours and then move on in the same place over and over and over again. And that's the reason why we expect a catastrophic flood event to take place. As I mentioned, the center is about 100 miles east of Wilmington, moving to the northwest very slow now. For us, last night was incredible with the afternoon storms that developed turned into evening thunderstorms, and they were strong lightning producers. And we have not a similar situation, but pretty close to it. We have that east wind, and you can see that is starting to move to the southwest. It was a little bit closer to us yesterday, but this is all moving off to the southwest, and we do have a sea breeze that has developed. Now, that sea breeze is kicking off just a few isolated showers right now, and it's east of I-75, so it too is a little bit further inland than it was yesterday at this time. Again, I sensitized the radar to show you that that sea breeze is now well inland, so the storms are really going to have a tendency to fire up here and then move off to the west, and they may have a chance to make it all the way to the coast. But I still think we're going to have a setup where we will see some pretty big storms developing in about 2 hours from now into central Florida, into Hardee and DeSoto counties. Well, the big story obviously is that this is weakened. The story is, though, it's still carrying what you would think could be a Category 4 storm surge with it. Now, back in 2005, the National Hurricane Center disassociated the storm surge with the category of storm, simply because as Katrina came ashore, it came ashore as a Category 3, a very weak one, but still had a Category 5 storm surge with it. And a lot of folks made decisions based on the number as opposed to what the storm surge is going to bring. And this is still going to bring a very significant storm surge to North Carolina and just near the center and to the east of it specifically. And it's going to continue to just hammer and pile that water up on the coast there. So that's going to be a big issue throughout the upcoming days. Now, Isaac is an interesting storm. It's now west of the Lesser Antilles. It's going to push off to the west, and it's not going to do much. In fact, it'll be just barely hanging on to tropical storm status, and then more than likely just a low pressure area, remnant low. We'll keep an eye on that remnant low. Sometimes if they move into an area of favorable conditions, they can develop and redevelop back into a storm. But right now, it doesn't appear that's going to be the case, and that's good news for us. Right now, 86. There is a storm near the airport right now. A little shower popped up there. As far as boaters is concerned, light chop on the bays and inland waters, and the seas will be running 2 feet or less. The extended forecast, not much of a chance for rain tomorrow and Saturday. A little drier air settling in. We'll have a northwest wind, though, so be advised as far as the red tide goes. And then we'll get back into those afternoon and evening storms, beginning especially on Monday. Be sure to download our ABC7 weather app and the First Alert weather app, and you can follow along with us. I know I updated all that rough lightning last night. I had a couple of videos that I sent out to the phones and the apps, and you can too get those when severe weather threatens our area.
Well, Bob, Hurricane Florence, as you just showed us, now Category 2, but it will still pack a punch. Extreme storm surge, historic flooding, prolonged damaging winds and rain, all still on the horizon for the Carolinas. In several areas, towns went into 24-hour curfews last night. For many barrier islands and peninsulas, ferries have stopped running, bridges to the mainland now closed.
And those who didn't heed the warnings to leave insist they are prepared to ride it out. Officials warn staying behind means once winds reach a certain speed, help will not arrive, and also flooded roads they won't be able to go out on. The limited emergency services that remain won't be able to reach folks who may be stranded from this massive storm.
All right, we'll continue to watch it. Thank you so much, Bob. Still to come in your Suncoast News, a sewing company in Sarasota that's putting a smile on kids' faces, one pillowcase at a time.
I'm Joey Panic from Suncoast View. Coming up Friday morning at 9, the cast of Florida Studio Theater's latest cabaret transforms songs from Pirates of Penzance and HMS Pinafore into new arrangements. We're going to preview Gilbert and Sullivan Unplugged. Plus, Jeep lovers have a reason to celebrate this weekend. We get a great preview of the Suncoast Jeep Festival. That's all coming up Friday morning at 9 a.m.
The final 2018 Accord clearance is now during our model year-end clearance sale. Drive new Accords for just $249 a month. Get an Accord, the North American car of the year, for less than the competition. With more standard features than Camry, Honda Sensing, multi-angle camera, turbocharged engine, and more. New Accords, just $249 a month. Your last chance for new Accords, all on clearance this week at your local Honda dealer.
Call to see if you qualify to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan right now. At Humana, we believe great things are ahead of you when you start with healthy. And part of staying healthy means choosing the right Medicare plan. Humana can help. With Original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits when you're sick, but keep in mind you'll have to pay a deductible for each. A Medicare supplement plan can cover your deductibles and coinsurance, but you may pay higher premiums than you do with other plans, and prescription drug coverage isn't included. But with an all-in-one Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you could get all that coverage plus Part D prescription drug benefits, all for an affordable monthly plan premium, and in some areas, no plan premium. It's all described in this free book. Call for yours and discover how an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan from Humana could save you money. There is no obligation and the book is free. Call or go online right now.
For upscale dining with an unparalleled Gulf view, find your way to Finn's at Sharky's. Finn's at Sharky's, breaking the surface of extraordinary dining.
When ABC7 declares a First Alert Weather Day, it means we can expect major changes to weather conditions here along the Suncoast.
It means there could be severe, potentially dangerous weather ahead.
We tell you when a First Alert Weather Day is coming because we want you to be prepared.
A First Alert Weather Day is an advance warning. We'll let you know about any changes in the weather when the first signs appear.
ABC 7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
WWSB ABC 7 is an equal opportunity employer, and we're looking for qualified people to join our dynamic team. For a list of current openings and to apply online, visit www.mysuncoast.com/contact/employment. If you're a motivated team player and you want a rewarding career in a fun, fast-paced working environment, WWSB ABC 7 could be the perfect fit for you. Check out our list of openings now.
A sewing store in Sarasota is giving back to the community one pillowcase at a time. The Modern Sewist held a fundraising event today to help with the project called Ryan's Case for Smiles. Cindy Kerr started the project more than a decade ago after her son was diagnosed with terminal cancer. She began making pillowcases for children to serve as a reminder of home while they are in the hospital. Once the pillowcases are made, they will be distributed to 9 area hospitals, including Sarasota Memorial.
It's a really important thing to be able to help these children and their families. It's a very traumatic experience to be in the hospital, particularly when it's a serious illness. And if this can make kids feel better, then why not?
Wonderful idea. The Modern Sewist is located on Gulfgate Drive. It's also a drop-off spot for anyone who'd like to donate pillowcases that can be distributed to these local hospitals. All right, back to Bob Harrigan now for another look at our evening forecast.
Scott, we're going to watch, obviously, the visible satellite imagery of Florence, but the important point to note for all of our residents here is that the wind is a big deal, obviously, with hurricanes, but it's the water that kills the most, and we're talking storm surge and freshwater flooding. That's usually the most damaging, too, in terms of destructive force. The winds, obviously, you can hide from, but the water you have to run from. And so when asked to evacuate, you're being evacuated not because of the wind field, but you're being evacuated because of the potential of storm surge intrusion as well as freshwater flooding. That is the reason why the folks are asked to evacuate. A lot of people say, well, I'm not going to leave because it's only going to be a 2. It has nothing to do with the wind, and when it comes to that, it has to do with how much water has gathered around the center of low pressure, and it is intense right now, and they're going to expect up to 10 to maybe 13-foot storm surge in places to near the center and to the right of the center as the system will continue to just hammer there. It's really slowed down to a snail's pace, too. Now, there are many systems in the Atlantic and the Atlantic Basin. We're watching them all. We're going to have an update coming up at 5. See you. Scott, back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. Thank you for joining us on ABC 7 News at 4. We'll see you again in about 30 minutes.